Hi, I'm Sally with Pampered Chef, and I'm going to be making Pampered Chef's recipe for loaded baked potato casserole. So I have some red potatoes, and I have cheddar cheese, sour cream, green onions, and you usually put bacon on the top of this. I'm out. We happen to have some ham that's diced that my son picked up to make some of his omelets, so I'm going to be using that. So I have my oven preheating to 375, and I'm going to be using my Rockcrok Every Day Pan. I melted some vegetable oil in there. I'm actually out of oil, so I put a little shortening in there, put it in the oven. This holds 2.5 quarts of food, and it has a cover with it, and this also fits into our slow cooker stand. This is item number 3139, and this itself is 125. It goes in the oven, on the stove, in the refrigerator. You can cook it with it in the microwave, and you can put it on the grill outside, which is it's very versatile. I love this. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting up the potatoes. I don't have a recipe in front of me. You can find it on my website. I've made this so many times that I just kind of wing it now, but my website is www.pamperedchef.com/PWS/cooking with Sal. So that's PWS for personal website. So I'm going to cut these potatoes into 1-inch pieces, and I'm going to put them in the oven to cook for about 40 minutes. You can do this in the microwave. Dice up the potatoes and cook them in the microwave. I don't have a microwave, so I'm going to do it in the oven. This knife I'm using, I love this knife. This is our utility knife. It comes with its own sheath. I started cutting the potatoes, so I'm not going to put it in there. But you can store it with the sheath, and then you don't have to worry about cutting your fingers when you reach into your drawer to get your knife. So this utility knife is item number 1508, and it's priced at $16, and it is this green color this season. So I'm going to continue to chop up the potatoes. Okay, so I have the potatoes all cut up, and I'm going to put half of them in the pan, and then I'm going to season them. I'm going to season them with salt and pepper. Actually, I can just use my... Oops, I need to open up my pepper first, don't I? Salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to put another layer in, so I'm going to put a little bit more salt in too. More salt and pepper. So I'm going to use my garlic press, and I'm going to add some fresh garlic. So I'm going to trim the edges off. I like to trim the end. And I'm going to peel off a little bit. You really don't have to peel the garlic when you use this press. I just find it a little bit easier. And I'll show you. I'm going to cut these. These are really, really big cloves, so I am going to cut them before I put them in. All right, so I'm going to drop the cloves right into my garlic press. And I'm going to... see, is this still hot? Here, I'll move this over a little bit. I have this in the... it's still warm from melting the vegetable oil. I'll move it over a little bit. So we have this handy little tool for the garlic, to get the garlic off the press. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to use this little handle. Oops, there's a lot of garlic on there, so I can use this tool, and I can get the skins out. Actually, also what you can do Actually, I'm going to put more garlic in there. I'm going to do another press and then I'm going to show you one more time. I'm going to squeeze out the garlic. And then plenty of good garlic in there. You can take this little hairbrush end and I'm going to fit it right in the little holes there. Sure, I'm going to fit it right in the little holes there, and I'm going to press it, and that's going to release the garlic from the bottom. And it just makes it for easy cleanup. So I have the garlic in the press. I'm going to press it, scrape it in there. And then take this little hairbrush end, put it in the holes. Sure. Trying to see what I'm doing, and in front of the camera too. There we go. See? And then I can just take it right out of there. All right. So I'm going to take my mix and chop. Mine has a pink handle because twice a year when Pampered Chef sells certain products, if you purchase a particular item that's pink, they'll donate $1 to breast cancer research. This does come in black right now. It's no longer available in the pink. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to mix up the potatoes a little bit, get the fresh garlic kind of swirling around in there. And then I'm going to put the rest of the potatoes in there and add more salt and pepper. Oops, I forgot a potato. It got down at the bottom on me. All right. One more potato to cut up. And all right, I'm going to add more salt and pepper to taste. And I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to put this in the oven for about 40 minutes at 375. Okay. Now I'm going to wash my utensils and then I'll be back. This ham we have is cut up into tiny little cubes already, but I'm going to go and cut these into quarters because I want these small because I'm going to put them on top of the casserole. So I'm going to go ahead and dice these up because when I put the ham on the casserole, it's really when I put the cheese on, and so you just put it back in the oven until the cheese is melted, so I want to make sure that the ham is heated through. Now that I'm done with the ham, I just washed my bar board. This cutting board is 6 by 9 and it's really small. I use it all the time. It is for cutting fruit up for drinks or something like that, and I just like it. It's just convenient. It is item number 1003 and it's $13. We have 3 or 4 different sizes of these. I also washed my utility knife and now I'm going to trim my green onions. So trim off the roots. All right. and now I'm gonna trim these into really thin little slices. I like to hold them all in a bunch. Let's see. Because I'm just gonna scatter these on the top of the casserole when we're gonna melt the cheese, so I want them really thin. So they'll be heated through when I take the casserole out of the oven. I'm going to cut some of the green part out too for continue that up. So we'll have some green on the casserole for some pretty color. All right. I've washed the garlic press, and I wanted to show you this little brush thing that's used to clean out the garlic press. It has a little fitted slot right there, and it goes right into the handle, and it stays there for storage. So this garlic press is item number 2576, and it's $20, and it's worth its weight in gold. It's really awesome. I'm gonna put it back, didn't I? All right, so I'm gonna take the potatoes out of the oven and mash them up. This is more like a smashed potato, not so much mashed potato. I expect these to be done because it's been 45 minutes and they're in little 1-inch pieces. So I love this. The lid, there's no condensation. You can see what's inside. All right. So I'm going to take my mix and chop, and they're not done. All right, I'm going to put this back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take this out of the oven. I'm going to show you, I really like that there's no condensation. You can see what is in the Rockcrok. All right. I'm going to take my mix and chop, right, mix and chop, and I am going to chop up the potatoes. This is really going to be a smashed baked potato casserole, not so much mashed. Okay, now I'm going to add the sour cream. I'm using a lot of potatoes, so I'm going to use about 3/4 of a cup. The recipe calls for half a cup, but I used extra potatoes. So this is my measure-all cup. This is 2 cups. So you can measure liquid and you can measure solids. So I have this to 3/4 of a cup, and just pull the canister down, 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to put my sour cream in here. And this is nice because I'm just going to push on the bottom to push the sour cream out of the measuring cup. And then I don't have to scrape the sides of the measuring cup to get all the sour cream out, and I don't have to do that with a spatula. So I'm just going to turn this over and push this out. See how clean? Here, I'm going to wipe this off and show you how clean the edges are. I don't know if you can see that. See, there's no sour cream. There's not a lot of sour cream between the edges there. Okay, and I'm going to add a little more salt and pepper to taste. And I'm going to mix this up a little bit more to mix the sour cream in with the potatoes. And chop up the potatoes some more too. This tool, this mix and mash, mix and chop, is for mashing up potatoes or for cooking sausage or ground beef to break it up in the pan. And also if you're making, because of the star shape on the end of it, if you're using the mini pie pans or even just a regular pie pan, if you just take the tip of this and press it into pie crust, then you have a little star design on the pie crust. Or you can do that on a cookie, like a peanut butter cookie. All right, I'm going to stir this with the spatula now too to give it a really good stir. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle the cheese over the top. And then I'm going to put the ham and the onions on top of the cheese. You can also add butter in this if you want to. So now I have that. I have the potatoes all smashed, and that's all spread down. I'm going to use, you know what, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the ham in there first. So I have the ham in there. And I'm going to use all 2 cups of this sharp cheddar because we like a lot of cheese. So I have the cheese on there all spread around. And now I'm going to put the ham instead of bacon. And I'm going to sprinkle the onions. I'm going to break them up, the little rings up a little bit too, as I put them in there. Smush them with my hands to open them up a little bit. So I'm not going to cover this now. I'm going to put this back in the oven just until the cheese melts. So that'll be probably about 5 minutes or so. All right, our loaded baked potato casserole is done. Doesn't that look beautiful? I love this. I will have this in the fridge and it reheats really nicely, and I'll have it breakfast, lunch, dinner. Let's see, I'm going to move this a little bit closer to show you. Isn't that beautiful? It is beautiful. And we will put, probably, I like a little bit too much butter, so I'll probably put a little butter on this. Oops, sorry, I didn't have it in the screen. There we go. This is delicious. Thank you for watching. And have a great night.